Hey guys, what's up? Your fantasy captains here. We're at week 11 already. Some desperate games coming, people trying to make the playoffs and stuff. So, like my buddy Rob on the other side, he's not 10-0 like some people. Well, you're
Oh,
9-1 in the dynasty, so
you just love jinxing yourself, don't you?
yeah, exactly. I don't care. I already locked in the playoffs. I'm good. Um, So we game one or the first game we're going to talk about, we got Oakland at Detroit. I like Carr, I like Cooper, I like Murray, I like Oakland. I mean Detroit did do good against the Packers last week, but I don't know. Their defense is not as good as it was last year.
I think it's a fantasy dream game here as far as points being scored on both sides. I picked up Stafford this week because he's been sitting out there. I'm starting him this week. Um, Abdul is supposed to get the rock more. I can't trust that backfield yet, but I love Calvin Johnson. I like Stafford actually and Ebron on the side of the Lions. And like you said, start the Raiders. I think it's going to be a 35, 34 point game for both teams.
Yeah, don't forget about Crabtree too. I sort of overlooked him.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you mentioned both. Yeah, Carr, Crabtree, Cooper, good starts, and then Latavius Murray as well.
Yeah, what about Golden Tate? He hasn't done much.
Guy's been weak. Honestly, I've heard some people picking up Lance Moore this week as a flyer because he's been getting some decent targets last couple of weeks, and it's a good matchup there. But yeah, I don't know, man. Tate has not been the guy he was last year when he was your boy.
I know. I didn't draft him. I thought he was going to regress and called it. So, but yeah, Lance Moore is a good one too, and Calvin Johnson. Obviously, you got to start. Oh, well, he's hurt though. I don't know if they said he's not going to. He might not play.
Nah, he went from questionable. He went from questionable to probable. I've been watching him because I have some ownership of him, and no, I'm all aboard starting this week in a good matchup.
Yeah, I agree. High scoring, a lot of points. Hopefully, not too much for Carr, but everyone else. Next game we got Indianapolis at Atlanta. I think this could be another high scoring game. To be honest with you, I don't know. Hasselback's been doing better than Andrew Luck. Crazy as it sounds, but um, what do you think about this game?
I think it go one or two ways. I agree. I think it could be high scoring, but the way Atlanta's been playing too, both teams are playing, not as good as expected. But I mean, how do you not start? I think it's a good matchup for Ryan. You can't not start Julio. Freeman comes back, good matchup for him as well. And Tammy's been a solid tight end lately. Return of Hankerson might take some targets away, but that's why I'd start in Atlanta side.
Yeah, on Indianapolis, you got to start Frank Gore, right? He's probably been one of the most consistent backs this season. He hasn't been putting up like 30 points, but he's been getting you 15 at least a week. I like T.Y. Hilton. I like Moncrief. If you need a quarterback, I'd get Hasselback, for this game. I think he could do something if you're desperate because there's a lot of buys this week too.
I could see that. I thought about a Hasselback. I was looking at. I have to fill some quarterback needs. I got Cutler going against Denver, and I didn't trust it. So I thought about him as well. I mean, it's a decent matchup. He's probably good for like 225, 250, and a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what I would predict for him too. Uh, next game we got the Jets at Houston. Big game for both teams. They're both fighting for that wild card spot. I'm not touching Houston's running backs, to be honest with you. The only one I would start is DeAndre Hopkins on Houston. Who else are you starting on Houston?
No, it's a good point. I mean, no, not even Hoyer available this week.
I know.
It's fun. Houston's actually fighting for the number one spot in that division. That's how disgusting that division is. Yeah, with Houston, man, it's Hopkins, Hopkins, Hopkins. I mean, maybe take a flyer on Nate Washington or Cecil Shorts, but yeah, Hopkins the only guy I trust in that lineup. In that game, the Jets start their defense. To be honest with you, and then on that opposite, Decker and Marshall have been solid, and Fitzpatrick's going to play. He's like 252 touchdowns. One to Decker, one to Marshall.
Yeah, and I'd also start Ivory too.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, those are the three guys that you start every week: Decker, Marshall, and Ivory. I think they'll have a good game too. And then yeah, start the D for sure. Um, Next game we got Tampa Bay at Philadelphia. Uh,
Here's some points coming.
Bradford's out, right? So you got the dirty Sanchez in.
Not a bad plug-in quarterback this week.
I
Good
know.
matchup.
I had Bradford in one league. I just got Sanchez. I think it's going to be the same. You know, he did pretty good last year. Sanchez. You got to start Ryan Matthews. You got to DeMarco Murray's going to get more touches with Ryan Matthews out.
Thank you. I was going to say, why you got to start Ryan Matthews? Are you crazy?
No. Jordan Matthews. You got to start Jordan Matthews. Ryan Matthews is out. So Sproles might get some work this week.
Yeah, Sproles a nice little pickup.
So that'll be a good pickup. Any other receivers on Philly? Ertz or anyone like that? Aguilar?
Honestly, I can't trust him. And the weird thing with Sanchez coming to who knows who he's connecting with, on the second string. Maybe it's like a Huff game, type of thing. So yeah, I'd shy away from any wide receiver besides Matthews.
Yeah, I agree with that. On Tampa Bay, the running game's not that. Doug Martin, if you need him. Mike Evans hasn't been catching the ball, but he's been getting a lot of targets. So you got to start.
Monster. He's getting 9-10 catches, yet he's getting like 20 targets. It's crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he starts catching the ball more, he's gonna crush it, right?
Yeah.
What about Vince Jackson? Your boy VJ.
It depends on injury. I'm not even sure if he's starting this week. To be honest, I got to check out his injury.
Yeah, and then
but it's a decent matchup. Like I said, Doug Martin and Evans are probably the two you trust the most.
What about the tight end, Safarian Jenkins?
If he ever gets in the field, sure. But I doubt he's going to play again this week.
No, he should. So, and I would start Winston too. I think it's a good matchup for him.
I agree.
Next game we got Denver at Chicago. This one could go either way with Denver's new quarterback, right? Yeah, I think you still got to start those guys. I think you still got to start Thomas and Sanders. But the running game, who the hell is going to get the ball? C.J. Anderson's been doing good lately. Then it's like the Belichick backfield. Who they're gonna hand the ball off to? So.
That's I can't trust that backfield at all. Yeah, that's a tough one. Osweiler, quarterback, I agree. I think he throws the ball down the field more, so I think Thomas might finally get in the end zone. So, yeah, no, I agree with you. You still start Sanders and you still start Thomas with some sort of confidence there. Cutler is a tough one. He's been on fire, and he's played good against bad defenses, good defenses, but, man, Denver's a tough task, and I'd probably avoid him. Jeffrey is a game-time decision at this point, so you don't even know they're going to have Jeffrey either. And hopefully Forte doesn't play, and Langford's a definitely must start. He's proven that he can play against even a good defense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Langford's a must start. And I think he's going to, even when Forte comes back, he's going to be cutting into his
split carries.
Yeah, they're probably going to split carries. Jeffries is a start if he's there. And the only other guy in Chicago is Bennett. You got to start him every week. But
yeah, Zach Miller all of a sudden's getting touchdowns there, cutting into some of his workload.
Oh, where the hell did he come from, right? Next game we got St. Louis at Baltimore. St. Louis is an easy one. Tavon Austin and
Gurley.
Gurley, maybe Tavon Austin if you need him, but Gurley.
It's a good Tavon Austin matchup, actually. But yeah, I agree. It's Gurley's the one you trust.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Baltimore's run defense is okay, but I think Gurley should still get you 100 yards and a touchdown, hopefully. Baltimore side, Forsett, you got to start Aiken. Gilmore's can get more targets too because they have no other receivers. But
honestly, I thought the Rams run defense is good. But they got lit up pretty good by Cutler on passing. So I think even Chris Givens is a flyer out there on the deep ball this week.
Sure. Next game we got Dallas at Miami. Romo owners like Rob and I were discussing it before the video. The only reason we're hesitant to start them because there's supposed to be this big windstorm, rainstorm there, and it's hard to throw the ball. So if you got a good backup, maybe don't start Romo this week, or keep an eye on that weather report in Dallas or at Miami. But you got to start Dez. You got to start McFadden. If Romo plays, you got to, You got to start Witten too now, I think, with Romo back.
Yeah, that's the main problem. So McFadden becomes a better start if the weather's awful too, because they're gonna have to really run the ball. But you got to watch him because he didn't practice one day this week too. So I checked the practice reports. If not, things are going to be ugly. But even Cole Beasley gets a little back in the mix with Roma there. He loves to dump the ball down, and he's going to take that role when Romo was there. But yeah, I love Romo. But man, if the winds are bad, I think it's going to be a big running game. So on both sides of the ball, even like guys like Landry, you got to take down a notch if it's windy, and look at guys like Lamar Miller and Jay Ajayi to be running the ball a bunch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Miller, hopefully he has a big game. Well, I don't have Miller anymore, so it doesn't matter to me. But he'll
Matters
have
to the viewers, Frank.
What happened?
Matters to the viewers. So
I
Lamar Miller owners out there, and they're worried that J.J. keeps dipping into the carries.
That's why I traded Miller. So let's see if my theory is correct. But yeah, Miller, Ajayi, Landry. That's about it. No one else is really doing much on Miami. Next game we got Washington at Carolina.
I told you to start Kirk Cousins last week. Don't start him this week.
Yeah, exactly. You're allowed to drop Cousins now, right? Who else you got there? Matt Jones been doing well. Morris, they've been splitting the carries a lot. If you need a running back, you can do that. Crowder, people are loving. They're throwing him the ball more than they are Garcon, right? So
yeah, that Carolina defense is good, man. I'm not trusting many Redskins this week. I mean, yes, all those guys, Jordan Reed too, as well. I think they're startable, but man, I can't see them moving the ball on that Panthers defense. And on the Panthers side, love Cam, love Olsen. Stewart's been solid. Besides that, I got no one else on the Panthers side of the ball.
I got no one else either. Funch is
yeah, but he's
a flyer, right? He's going to be hit or miss, but they've been looking for him more, but he still hasn't done much. I agree. Next game, we got Kansas City at San Diego. Kansas City's defense been stepping it up big time, and San Diego doesn't really have any weapons besides Stevie Johnson.
It's getting ugly. Danny Woodhead. It's going to be a Danny Woodhead game. Check down
Woodhead. You got to start Gordon. You got to start Stevie Johnson. But Kansas City defense has been playing well, so
I agree.
On the Kansas City side,
defense not so good.
Yeah, on the Kansas City side, what are you starting West and Macklin? Is that about it? And Kelsey?
Yeah. Do they have anybody else?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who else do they got, right?
Yeah, no, West has been solid, and even against the tough Denver defense, he got in the end zone twice. So West is legit. I think it's a Macklin bounce back game against a little worse pass defense. Also,
agreed. This next game is going to be I don't know if it's going to be high scoring or low scoring, but Green Bay at Minnesota. The Minnesota defense is tight this year, dude.
Tough divisional game, man, and Rodgers has admitted that he's banged up.
Yeah, and the last 3 games, either he's going to come out firing or he's going to continue to struggle like he has been, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you still got to start. I mean, Starks is the guy now, right? So
Starks stay on number 1 role. Yeah, I mean, you can't bench Rodgers. I mean, I think you still play him, and you still play Cobb, even though he's been weak. I think Devontae Adams we had a ton of targets. He's definitely startable. I think Jones, on the other hand, has fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah, he's a touchdown or nothing type player, right? So if he doesn't get you that touchdown, don't expect anything from him. I agree with you on Green Bay side. On Minnesota side, I like, obviously, you got to start AP. You got to start Bridgewater's a decent start. Diggs, too. I think he's going to have a good game against his Green Bay defense that's been struggling. Anyone else, like Rudolph or anything like that?
No, that's pretty bad. I like Diggs a lot this week, like you said.
You'll have to play him if Jeffries is out. I'll keep an eye on that. Next game, we got San Francisco at Seattle. I say bench San. I don't even
bench San Francisco. Period.
Yeah, just keep them away from San Francisco. Disaster.
Well, it looks like Hyde might not even play. It's going to be Sean Drone again, getting the rock. And ugh.
Yeah, stay away from them. On the Seattle side, you got Marshawn's been banged up too, right?
You got to watch him because Rawls will be a good play this week. If he does start, yeah, you got to watch that injury. Marshawn's not been practicing all week.
Exactly.
Watch that. Dougie Baldwin's been stepping up. Last week had a good week, so he's one to take a peek at.
Yep, I agree. Doug Baldwin, but that's about and Jimmy Graham. Other than that, and Russell Wilson should have a good game too, actually. But other than that, not too exciting. I hope it's not on our TV. I'll be falling asleep. And then we got the night game, Cincinnati at Arizona. Good game going on. Good game, right? Good defenses too. So I can't see a lot of points being scored here, but you got to start your guys in Arizona, right? Chris Johnson, Fitz, Floyd might play, so keep an eye on him but he's been a monster lately, and Carson Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great division. It's a great football game in general. And Carson Palmer seems to be matchup proof. I'd start him, like you said. Yeah, John Brown's probably not going to play. Floyd's iffy. So Fitz is a good start, and the backfield's a little tough. If you're going to go with anybody, probably Chris Johnson.
Yeah, and Carson Palmer's going back to his old team, so those are always
revenge game.
A revenge game. Keep that in mind. I would start Dalton too. I know Arizona's defense is really good, and Dalton struggled last week. I would rather start Romo over Dalton. I have Romo and Dalton in one league, and I would start Romo if these winds and rain aren't as bad as they say they are. But you got to start AJ Green, and I would say Gio over Hill if you have both of them now.
I don't like either against that defense. Whoa, heard myself. Yeah, Gio's been running the ball better. Hill looks like hot garbage, but I think Arizona's just tough defense. I agree. You got to start AJ Green, and I do think Dalton has a bit of a bounce back game, but it's another primetime game, and he seems to melt under the lights.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm going to keep an eye on that weather for Romo. You and I are in the same boat. I think you got Dalton too, right?
Yeah, Dalton. I have the exact same Dalton Romo scenario in one of my leagues. So I'm gonna have to go with Dalton if the winds are bad in Miami, but I don't want to.
I'll call you before 1. We'll figure it out. Monday night, you got Buffalo at New England. New England's banged up too, right? You got to start Blunt and Gronk, I think.
Buffalo's still going to shut down Gronk this week, Frank.
Well, yeah. He's the only guy that they got to cover, right? You got Amendola there, but he's a little frat. He's no.
I like LaFell this week.
Yeah, LaFell could be a good play too, right? LaFell, Amendola, Gronk, Blunt. Anyone else? I'm starting White this week because I'm sort of need to because Ryan Matthews is hurt. Don't love it, but I'm hoping for a few catches. Maybe he pops into the end zone. So.
Yeah, I mean that's a like I said, a stretch play. Who knows game flow with those guys? And man, I miss Deion Lewis already. And then on Buffalo side of the ball, I mean, Tyrod Taylor did have his best game against the Pats this year because he's playing from behind. Sammy Watkins, he's going to be. I've got to think they're going to play from behind. But McCoy's been playing really well. So and Williams has scored now in 7 games straight a touchdown. So all startable in my book.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even Williams. He's boom or bust, right? If he doesn't get
I think he's got a touchdown. So that streak's going to end at some point. But yeah, I thought it was going to end last week, but he keeps scoring.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Either he's going to score you a touchdown and get you 10, 12 points, or you're going to end up with 3 to 5 points, right? So
absolutely
take the risk if you need to. I'm going wide receiver. So, but yeah, one scenario I got White or David Johnson. Who would you rather start in that case?
The problem is Arians hates rookies, and that's the problem. I think David Johnson's better, but I'd probably roll with White, to be honest with you.
He's going to get more looks. That's why I did roll with White, but just wanted your opinion on air. So if you have questions like that, just tweet us at Fantasy Captains. We'll answer them on the show. And, thanks for tuning in, folks.
Playoff push, big week for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck getting to the playoffs. Hustle it. And
Except
trade deadline's over now, too. So,
depends on your league.
yeah, exactly. Later.